We're talking exclusive access to a stockpile of Soviet bloc non-standard weapons and ammo. That's gonna win this deal for us.
He's on a terrorist watch list.
Whatever, people end up on that list for bringing scissors onto an airplane.
That's not why he's on the list.
Look, the Pentagon wants 100 million rounds of AK-47 ammo in the middle of a worldwide shortage. Where do you think they think that's gonna come from? A bunch of shady motherfuckers like that guy. This is the job. To do business with the people and places the US government can't do business with directly. It's as simple as that.
Anitri, welcome to my channel. I'm going to be constantly giving you movie, TV shows, reviews, updates, anything, that I'm talking about movie related, TV related. So thank you guys for tuning into my channel. So today I'm bringing you this long awaited review from about War Dogs. It's the movie directed by Todd Phillips, and you all know Todd Phillips from the Hangover trilogy. He directed the Hangover movies, and I was a little skeptical when I heard that he was directing this movie. I mean, I was kind of excited when I first saw he was directing it, but then I was like, oh, I remember those last two Hangovers, and they were not the business. But the first one was really good. It was something new, it was something fresh. So, I was excited about seeing him, stepping into something different and, directing this movie. So War Dogs, okay. And I do have my little notes here, so I will be looking down at my notes just to, kind of refresh my memory, because it has been like over a week since I saw this movie. So anyway, War Dogs. War Dogs is a movie based on a true story about these two 20-something-year-old childhood friends who end up becoming, gun dealers during the Afghan war, or in the early parts of the war, like in the early 2000s, early to mid 2000s, like around 2005, 2007, something like that. But anyway, they're about the movie's about these two friends. So the true story, guys, the characters are Dave Packouz and Ephraim Diveroli. They were the guys who this story is based upon. David Packouz was played by Miles Teller, and Ephraim Diveroli was played by Jonah Hill. So yeah, the story is based in like Miami. Miles Teller's character, David Packouz, is like, a pretty clean cut guy, not getting in any trouble or anything like that, but he has like a pretty shitty job doing like massaging like rich dudes for like, $100 here, $100 there, not really making any real money. He has a live-in girlfriend. I forgot the girl who plays her, but anyway, he has a live-in girlfriend. She, finds out that she's pregnant or whatever, and he feels like, okay, it's time for me to get my shit together. I got a kid on the way. I need to do something other than, these pathetic jobs that I'm doing. So, in the beginning, he decided that he was going to just go and try to sell bed sheets to like old retirement homes or whatever. That shit didn't work out for obvious reasons. And then here comes his childhood friend that he hadn't seen in years, because he had been in some other part of the country working, doing whatever he was doing. But he sees him at a funeral. I think one of their friends or somebody died, and they end up meeting up again at a funeral. So Ephraim, who's played by Jonah Hill, brings in Teller's character, David, to get in on this arms deal with him, some government arms deal. And, Teller's character can't believe it's like, okay, what are we doing or whatever, because they're just two, young guys or whatever. But, Ephraim runs the game down to him, tell him how everything works and everything. So that's how they get caught up, in that whole thing. The movie, it had its slow moments, especially in the beginning, but, it did start to pick up. And it had its slow moments, but it did pick up. So, they ended up, their first deal that they had, they were supposed to bring in like these Berettas to one of the captains in the Afghan war. Like he had ordered some Berettas, and they had this contract to get these Berettas for him. So that shit went crazy. They had to end up they couldn't ship them from Italy to, so I think it was Saudi Arabia. Like they couldn't ship from Italy to Saudi Arabia, so they had to end up going over there, trying to get the guns back, going through all of this crazy stuff to get the guns to where they needed to be so that they could get paid. But anyway, I mean, the movie is good. Once that slow, little slow part in the beginning where it's like explaining like how the contract work and, how they end up getting in on a deal, on the low end. They're kind of like bottom feeders. Like, they get in on the lower deals. But I mean, hell, when you coming from zero, you have no money. And I mean, any money, looks good to you at that point. You know what I'm saying? They didn't get like $1 billion deals or whatever. But I mean, whatever they was getting, whether it was 300,000 here, 600,000 here. I mean, it was good money for them. I mean, because both of them, like I said, Miles Teller's character David had absolutely nothing. So I mean, he was happy to get whatever. So it was just like they were in the deals, but they were like getting the crumbs. But I mean, the crumbs was tasting real good, because they were getting good money off of those deals. But the movie it started to pick up. It started becoming fast paced. Miles Teller's character, I really, fell in love with that character. He was a guy, he was trying to do good, in the process. He was trying to keep a lot of stuff from his girlfriend, and that made her upset with him and, things like that. But I do, he got caught up with his friend, trying to do, get in there and do what his friend, had suggested or whatever. But what happened was that, Ephraim, who was played by, he was played by Jonah Hill. I mean, Jonah Hill's character was so fucking obnoxious. Like, this dude was just, you wanted to slap him almost at every turn. But I mean, the movie had good laughs. It had, action. And I did laugh out loud quite a few times during the movie. So, I mean, it was good, for what it was. It really, kind of explained how the whole contract thing worked for, the guns. Because, like, we all know, I mean, wars are based on, they have wars because, I mean, it's money. It's big business, pretty much. So, that's pretty much what the story was giving us, just showing us, like, the business side of, like, people over there losing their lives every single day, hour after hour. But, you got people back here who never set foot in a war zone who are making millions and millions of dollars, off of that whole situation. But so much for that. Back to the movie. The movie was, I would give it, I would say probably a B+. It was good. Like I said, it had that slow part in the beginning, but then it started to pick up. Jonah Hill, he played the part to perfection like he normally does. I like watching his movies. And at this point, I like Miles Teller. I've seen him in a few things passing, but I've never seen, never really sat down and watched a movie with him in there. But he did really good. Like, he was good. Like, both of them were really good. Jonah Hill made you feel like you were in there with them. But he was obnoxious. He was like one of those shady friends who only cared about money. He had Miles Teller's character, David, doing all the grunt work, doing all the hard work while he went to strip clubs and, chilled out and, spent his money and rode up and down the street in his Porsche or whatever. So it was just like, he wasn't a real friend. At the end of the day, he was using him to get, what he wanted. So during the whole thing, like, and then they ended up winning this $300 million contract through the Pentagon, where they won this $300 million contract. It was like, what? But they were, and then once they won the contract, they found out like why they won the contract, because they bid lower than anybody else who, had put in for it. But that shit went crazy. You have to see the movie to see like everything that happened with it. But it went crazy. FBI ended up coming into the whole situation. They ended up having to do time, and I mean, it was interesting. I mean, the movie definitely kept my attention. I would say it was kind of like a cross between the first Hangover and The Wolf of Wall Street. So it was a cross between them. We know Jonah Hill was in The Wolf of Wall Street, so I guess he brought some of those elements from that character that he played back then to the character that he plays now, because I can definitely see the resemblance of those two movies. Like, and it was like a mesh between, like I said, The Hangover and The Wolf of Wall Street. The Wolf of Wall Street with Leonardo DiCaprio playing the lead role on that one, and that was another one that was based on a true story. So yeah, I mean, the movie was good. You know, it really gave me insight on, you know, how things work when it comes to, like, you know, the war, and, you know, how they get guns, and, you know, all that type of stuff. So I mean, it was very interesting because I didn't know that it was like a, you know, set up like that, you know, that the contracts, that's how people bid and all that kind of stuff, and they take the lowest bid if it's appealing to them, and that's what they go with. But for overall, the movie was good. You know, it gave me what I needed. It was one scene in there where Jonah Hill was shooting this machine gun like out in the open, but for a really good reason. And I was just like, yeah, you my boy right now. You my boy right now. But yeah, Wolf of Wall Street, you should go check it out. Not Wolf of Wall Street, I'm sorry. But War Dogs, you should go check it out. It's a good movie. It's a good time before it leaves the theaters or whatever. I'm pretty sure it's going to be in there for a while. But yeah, go check it out. And again, thank you for watching. I'm Ella Nitri. Like I said, I will be bringing you movie, TV show reviews on my channel. Make sure if you have any comments, leave your comments below. Subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Instagram at L_Nitri1229. And yeah, that's me. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.